Hello there everyone, Just History Guy here, and as you know, I'm talking about one of gaming's most controversial games, the 7th generation of consoles' go-to bad game and punching bag, Resident Evil 6. Fans of the franchise thought it was the end of the father of survival horror ever being survival horror again. The last nail in the coffin, as you will. Now here in present day, we know that to not be true, with the great RE remakes as well as the acclaimed 7th and 8th game. But at the time, the consensus on the internet seemed to be people are not happy. And I 100% don't agree. I loved Resident Evil 6 from the bottom of my heart, and it became one of my favorite action horror games of all time, and a favorite of the 7th generation. See, Resident Evil 6 was actually my first Resident Evil game. Now, I've gone on to play many more now, but back then I heard all about how awful this game was, and how it was a complete departure for the series. And while my first thought was, wait, didn't this happen? But that also meant I knew exactly what kind of game I was getting into. See, at the time I played this, if something was scary, I just couldn't finish the game. I was like Joey hiding The Shining in the freezer. So I came into this game knowing it was a wonky, over-the-top, Michael Bay type action game, with the only thing missing being the Linkin Park soundtrack. Now, for fans, I understand that this felt like a departure, but looking back on it, the RE series was heading in that direction for a while. I mean, again... But if you look at this game for what it is, you will see one of the most polished and entertaining AAA games of the last 3 generations. I mean, look, imagine having a $60 game released now that included top-of-the-line graphics, a full complete story, with 4 campaigns. Yeah, 4 full campaigns, which included split-screen co-op that I miss so much now, a balls-to-the-walls multiplayer mode, plus a full-on horde mode. And all of this at launch. Yeah, that's right. No season pass, no having to buy the game twice, no DLC there. A full game, packaged to the brim as soon as it's released. Hell, Capcom should be praised for this, and I'm here to do it. But most of all, this game was just fun to play. Since this game, I have never played a third-person shooter that had such fun controls and mechanics. You can slide on the floor, roll around, smash enemies' heads, and then if you play as my favorite character, you can bust out some kung fu moves. And that's all without using the plethora of weapons the game has to offer. The game is just satisfying to control. And let's not forget the Devil May Cry over-the-top type taunts that they give you. Doing that just made me glance at the corner of my screen expecting to see a super stylish rating. The action is just insane in this game. But let's not forget the characters and the story. Let's start with Leon, who starts off with the iconically classic Resi Outbreak scenario, with a campaign that feels the most like a classic Resident Evil game with the most horror vibe of the campaigns, which included crazy conspiracies and just a lovable cast, which all of the campaigns had that, honestly, with them all intersecting in stylish and amazing manners that just make you go, yeah! And then there's Chris's campaign, a tragic military-style campaign that feels the most like a typical shooter game. But man, if the ending of this campaign doesn't make you feel a bit sad, then you're heartless. Chris feels like the grizzled veteran who has seen way too much. And as one of the 2 main characters from the first game, this is completely fitting. But none hold a candle to the 3rd campaign. With it being my absolute favorite, with my #1 Resident Evil character, Jake. The story of Jake and Sherry's, 2 Resident Evil legacy characters, with them both being children of former villains, is frankly awesome. Jake's kung fu moves are just so satisfying to pull off. With sick combos and parries, I honestly refuse to use any weapons in this mode. With my favorite thing being the hand-to-hand final boss fight over lava that you have. Just epic. Then there's Jake's charisma that just oozes off of him. The story of him and Sherry growing closer, and the love story throughout is honestly a favorite of mine. And I would play this game again and again just for this campaign. You even defeat the final boss of this campaign with the classic power of love. No pun intended, but I loved it. Speaking of this, the final boss, it's a nemesis type boss that stalks you throughout this campaign and gives you a throwback to Resi 3. With honestly this whole game feeling like the end of a franchise giving throwbacks to every Resi game that came before, with Leon on Chris's feeling like tributes to their solo games. Minus the boulder punching. Then there's the fourth and final campaign, an Ada bonus campaign, just being a fun inclusion that just keeps you coming back and playing more. So with this video, I hope more people will love this game and check it out. I mean, come on, the HD edition probably goes for like $5-10 now. With all the content you get, it's a no-brainer. With that, please like, subscribe, and comment below. Have a great day.